they say history repeats itself. Everything in life works in a cycle. That's big facts too. If we stop and just look and watch me go from circling my city and letting the wheels spin to circumnavigating the globe, that's a real win. Top dollar for my people back home. A note to self, don't abandon your identity in pursuit of this wealth. Just keep it real, baby. Watch how you move and who you move with. Cause skin folk ain't always kin folk. Some of us clueless to the nuts and bolts that build the framework of the struggle.
Welcome everybody to Four Corners Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Miss Mai. How y'all doing this Sunday?
Hello.
Good. Welcome to Four Corners.
What's up, everybody? Valley Uno. And yeah, we're gonna be talking about this money. Get your shmoney today, among other topics. But yeah, you know, it's gonna be centered around reparations and what that looks like for Black people, most directly to the California residents. Because of the proposal that's being made by California to initiate a reparations program for people that have a history of residency in the state of California. So that's where we at with it today.
How was your guys' week?
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
It was fair.
I had a long week. And it's already a new week. So now just bleeding into the next paper trail. Yeah. Reparations is a big deal. So we'll get into that later. Does anybody want to start with their hot topics or current affairs that they wanted to cover this week? Anything exciting or something you want to bring to the forefront?
Yeah. I had and I mean, just found out about this yesterday, you know, because y'all know I don't be too heavy all up in the news and whatnot. But I guess Trump is being indicted for something he had in connection to, what was her name, Stormy Daniels. Some information that he
paid her off.
Yeah, he paid her off during his election campaign about some sexual misconduct or something along those lines. So yeah, I wanted to get into that. Somebody put something up there already.
I know I did, and I'm sorry. Just can you tell me how to get it off?
Put your cursor over the three dots on the thing. Okay. And it should say remove from the stream. There you go.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
It's all good. So yeah, Donald Trump has been indicted following an investigation into hush money payment scheme. And here's what we know. So again, we were talking about the shit with Stormy Daniels, and apparently there's a possibility of it including more criminal allegations, but this is just what's being made public at this time. And the reason why that's a big deal is because his indictment, it would prevent him from running for presidency on the next go round. So I just thought that was something that was interesting and wondered, you know, who's behind all of that? You know, who's really pushing this issue to get him to take several seats, you know?
Well, you know, nobody wants, there's a lot of people who want to see him return, but there's also a lot who don't. So the timing of it is not, you know, it's not by accident, as they say.
Yes,
I think it's good. They've been saying they were going to bring him up on charges.
They won't stick them.
He be all right.
He gonna pay his way out of it like he always does.
Yeah, he might do that. You know, he might not be able to.
There's gonna be a jury involved with it, and the jury ain't fucking with that.
Yeah.
Well, according to the story that you got right here, you know, he's already got something to say about it. You know, he's blasting political prosecution and there's election interference as the highest level in history. He's saying that they are doing it just because of that, you know. And even if it's some truth to that, it's not like he ain't done some crooked shit before. So how can I feel sorry for him?
Right.
Well, I mean, it's really the bait and switch, because what I mean by that is you think about all his dealings with Russia during his election campaign. And then when you take that and factor in that Russia is housing what's his name? I can't remember his first name. I think it's Eric Snowden, but he's a former CIA and he's like basically the greatest computer hacker in the history of the governmental agencies or whatever. And he was instrumental in, like, so when we talk about watching people through their computer cameras, like how we have on right now and all type of other shit, he was the one that was putting all those type of programs together. So any sort of digital hacking of the election process, that's something that he would have very easily been able to do. And so everybody always used to kind of wonder, like, what's Trump got going on with these Russians? Why is he so linked in with Putin? And I always I kind of lean toward the idea that it had something to do with that. You know what I mean? They were helping him to botch the election when it was his turn on his behalf. So for him to be steadily screaming about this election tampering and election interference is to cover up the shit he done on his own end, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's crooked as all get out.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Americans love him.
Right.
That is true.
They can relate to his ass, you know? Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say go Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
Good game.
Hercules.
Yeah.
Yeah, they doing their thing.
Made it to the playoffs.
Oh man.
After what, 9 seasons?
I don't know. It's been a long time. We covered it.
It's been longer than that.
Yeah,
it's been longer than that because it was talked about. I just can't remember what the actual number is, but it's been a long time. Yeah,
it's a big deal. It's go Kings. I think that I heard they're the 3rd seed right now.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a free shirt too the other day.
Yeah. Shout out to the homie in the chat. Okay, AJ said it was 2006. I knew it had been a really long time.
Right. Yeah, a long time.
Yeah. Homie in the chat right here, just on the reparations topic. I'm gonna throw this out here right now, and we can kind of circle back to it once we get a little heavier into that. But he says that we cannot ever have reparations because we don't have a homeland. I've heard that said before, and I think that there is some relevance to that, but I don't think it's an absolute blockade to the possibility of reparations being made on the part of Black Americans. It's a big deal. It's something worth considering, but I don't think it's an absolute brick wall, though. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be, the requirements is that you would have to have been a descendant of an enslaved or a free person before the 19th century or the 19th century. And most Black people don't know their ancestry or how to get that information. So it's going to be a far.
Well, you can get the information.
Yeah, that shit is a lie.
The information can be got.
Records.
Right. The information can be retrieved, but it's people are going to have to do the footwork. One of the things that I was also seeing, it had something to do with people who lost their housing due to eminent domain when they were going in and taking a lot of Black people's property that they owned. And so those are the families that are the ones that have that knowledge, that knew that these things were happening when they had grandparents and they actually seen it. Their grandparents may be deceased now, but they have knowledge that that land previously belonged to them and the terms that the land was taken from them under. And so that's important too. That's why I was saying a record tracing is necessary, because a lot of people lost land. And so if you look at it that way, that has a lot to do with it as well. There should be some reparations. We might not necessarily, quote unquote, have a homeland, but there was people who owned land in this country who lost it for no reason, just other than being Black.
You know, and I think the biggest part of it all is just like, if I went and took out some credit from some credit agency, they're going to come get their money. They're going to come get what's owed to them. So when we look at the fact that this nation was built on the backs of Black people, quote unquote, Black people, through free labor, they owe it. You know, all that other shit is just contributing factors that might change the dollar amount for those particular people. But without a doubt, the nation was built through free labor on the backs of Black people. You understand what I'm saying? And
right.
It's a debt that's owed for that labor, period. That right there makes it to where it's not even really an arguable point. The other factors just would help to substantiate how much money should go to these people, because it wasn't just free labor, but it was the loss of land as well. You see what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah. and there are some other stipulations, sis, you might have those right before you, some of the other requirements. But what was exciting to me was that this is the first reparations task force that they're actually, you know, they're not going to stop. You know what I mean? So they have actually gathered a group together and put their own task force in hopes to make this a thing come to fruition. So I think that that's a huge step right there.
Yeah, well, because in 1915, a group of freed slaves filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Treasury saying that they were owed $26 million or $56 million, $26 million for back revenue for picking cotton, because, you know, and they were shot down. So now they have some leg to stand on, because they got 4 women, and 5 men on this task force from all different backgrounds, different educations. We'll see how it goes.
I think that kind of plays into what Frack had said earlier about not having a homeland. There's nobody to answer to. The U.S. doesn't have to answer to anybody for the mistreatment of Black people. That's where that factors in. There's no nation of people that is going to stand up and say, hey, you can't do this to our folks in your country, because really ain't nobody's folks in this country. But again, that can kind of go on into us being indigenous to this land and many other lands throughout the world, even though that's something that a lot of people don't embrace. There's heavy amounts of historical evidence that would indicate otherwise, that, you know, not only were we indigenous, but a lot of aspects of civilization were implemented by Black people, you know. Yeah, so it's a big deal. On the same token, though, I think this situation that's going on the global scheme, as far as money goes, currency, and all these countries coming away from dependency on the U.S. dollar, is going to put the United States in such a financial situation that we can kind of forget about these reparations for a time, because once that's finalized, the value of the U.S. dollar is going to plummet. And
the value of the U.S. dollar is already plummeted.
No, you got to understand what I'm saying. Plummet, not a little bit lower, like plummet. It's going to be bad. You know,
not necessarily, because if Blacks get that money, they're going to throw that directly back into the economy.
I hear what you're saying, What I'm saying though is with that kind of economic strain going on, the U.S. is not going to continue the process of reparations. That's something that will be immediately put on the back burner.
The only people, well, prior people who did get reparations were the Japanese Americans, and the Indian Americans. And the Japanese were the only ones that got money. The Indians didn't get any money. And
Well, yeah, they did.
They get money every month.
Exactly.
well, that's true. That's true. But at the time of the reparations in 1946, they only got they were awarded $1.3 billion to go towards the tribes and the bands so they could get to fix up their land, but they didn't get the money themselves.
Right, but look at what you just said though. So that's a payout, no matter how you look at it. If they had given us 1 billion and said, here, this is to better the lands or the communities that you live in, it would be the same thing. They were able to then build casinos on their land, which then created much revenue. So
exactly.
I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
And on top of that, getting an annual salary that's broken down in monthly allotments just for waking up and breathing air.
Yes.
You know, so
some of those
getting banged too.
Some of those were high monthly payments, 14,000, 7,000.
People getting breaded like a fish just for being alive.
Breaded,
you know?
okay.
Absolutely. And all you had to do was prove that you have a percentage of a certain tribe in you. So of course, if we see that happening for them, why can't we get reparations? It seems like it's so cut and dry, but it's just another way for me, as far the way I see it, is America never going to want to acknowledge what they've done to Blacks. That's what it all boils down to, because reparations means an acknowledgement of a wrongdoing, right?
And an apology and all that.
An apology through payment. An apology through payment. So Americans don't want to apologize for what they've done, because one of the gentlemen who was speaking the other day, and I use the word gentleman loosely, he was saying, well, all the people that were slave owners are dead. Why should we pay for it? It's like, okay, but that shit was passed down. You already got the land.
Still reaping the benefits of them dead slave owners.
Yeah,
that's why. So, and it wouldn't matter who owned them. Unpaid debt is unpaid debt. That's why I mentioned, if you took some debt, some money on credit from somebody, it doesn't matter if that individual dies. You know what I mean? What does that have to do with it? Unpaid.
It doesn't have anything to do with it.
Break off the chips. But again, I do think that the situation that's going on a global level with the money is a big deal. So these BRICS countries, as well as a few other countries. So if I can remember this correctly, BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So all of these particular countries are collectively working together to create a U.S. currency that would devalue the U.S. dollar. And the method that they're going about doing that is because oil is typically traded through U.S. currency, through the dollar. So by them creating this new form of currency, global currency, oil would no longer be necessary for these countries to purchase or trade oil under the U.S. dollar. That's why I was saying about the value of the dollar plummeting, and I think that's something that I can see that being an obstacle to the whole reparations piece if and when this comes into play.
It's because if you have $1 million U.S. currency and you did a trade and you bought some oil with $1 million U.S., they'd have to essentially spend probably double or triple of that in their currency. Their currency is valued lower than ours.
Right. Well, and because I didn't know it was through oil, but I thought it was through gold, like actual gold. And that's another thing. I didn't, like I said, that was just knowledge to me, but we already know that the US dollar, it's not worth what it was before, because they don't have that. It was all made up. It seems as though it was the dollar, it was being printed without anything to back it anyway. If
There's no gold behind it. There's no gold behind the dollar.
Well, yeah, well, see, and that's where the credit system comes into play, because once it was no longer being backed by gold. So the acquisition of new gold was previously the basis for printing new money. At this point that we live in for well over 50 years, I believe it is, the basis for printing money is new debt. You understand what I'm saying? And you just got to think about how that looks in the United States. How many people go to work every day in order to pay some sort of debt, and then they're acquiring new debt along the way, and all of that filters right back to the Federal Reserve to say, "Hey, print these notes, man." So it seems like it's a ghost transaction that's taking place, but they're basically leveraging the value of the new debt as the basis for printing new money. It's fucked up. Yeah.
It is.
Mm-hmm. So in connection with the reparations, so I was talking to E yesterday, and he had threw something out about reparations, and he was asking, like, the only way you want to get it is money? And I was like, yeah, I ain't interested in nothing but dinero. You can't pay me in no other form. But then he had threw out, well, so what about if a portion of it was allotted to free access to university level education? You know what I mean? And that not only is people getting monetary reparations, but they're getting reparations being that, okay, you done graduated high school, and because you on this list of people that improved their lineage, now you have access to this university, as long as you meet the standards from an academic point. What do y'all think about that? Would that be something that would be acceptable to you, or do you want?
I think that there's several. I think that's a good question. First of all, that's a real good question. And to answer it, I'm gonna say yes. I do feel that there's other ways to pay it back, being allotted certain things, as far as housing, and land. I do think that that's a good way to pay it back too. As far as the schooling, I think that that's great as well, because if we want our next generation to be educated, then that's a good way for them to have it, without having the cost. So I think, yes, I'm willing to see it paid forward in some kind of way. Again, starting with the apology, acknowledgement that slavery took place, that it was wrong, that it damaged and harmed people for generations. Now, a lot of people have it fucked up and understand the miseducation of, oh, well, you weren't a slave, your mama wasn't a slave. Well, if my great grandmother was, and the way she was, and it affected her ability.
It wasn't our great grandma; it was our grandma.
Yeah, our grandparents on Pop's side was born on a plantation as the children of sharecroppers. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to go back that far.
No, and so that's what I'm saying. So the way that they were able, the lack of that they had to raise their families, then it is directly affected. It directly affects those that came beneath you. So I think,
I don't need no apology.
Me either. Fuck your apology.
Well, apology is change behavior, and apology is give the reparations. That's what it has to be.
Yeah,
it's just like a motherfucker cutting off your hand and then saying they sorry.
Yeah, I need my hand. Hold on, I gotta plug up my computer, so bear with me.
Oh, it says land or zero taxes. I agree with both of them.
Yeah, no doubt.
Land, you could pay me, and like he said, some free educational things, and don't tax me and give me some motherfucking land.
Mm-hmm. Well, in 2021, 16 blacks in Evanston, Illinois, received $25,000 in home improvement grants for redlining, because they were subject to redlining. So, you know, it's just,
16 suckers, huh?
Yeah,
Right.
16.
Right.
16.
That's like,
But you know what?
like,
What's funny is Germany since 1950 has been paying Holocaust survivors and victims since 1950 and have paid over $564 million to claims that were put in, and still, as of this day, still paying claims. So it could be done.
It could be. It's a matter of if they want it to be, and it's a matter of not just.
Let's face it. I'm gonna catch some backlash. Let's face it. The Jews' numbers of them that died and all that. There's numbers of other people and other races of people that have died tenfold on those numbers.
I agree with that.
The Jews did some
dying. Yeah, just in the war alone.
But a whole lot of other motherfuckers did a lot more dying.
Real talk. So this comment here, as it relates to the conversation we were having about education, only thing that can't find a way to take back is what you learn or put in your brain. And I agree with that. With that. So when we were having a conversation yesterday, the thing I asked him was, who's writing the curriculum though? Because if all we're doing is saying, hey, give us access to an education that continues to perpetuate the Western ideologies that we live under right now, what good really is that to our people? If we don't get to select the curriculum that's being filtered into our minds, we're kind of just saying, hey, I don't want to have to pay for the brainwashing. I still want to be brainwashed. I just want it to come for free. So the education piece only has value to me if we also have a say-so in what the curriculum is that's going to be taught. You understand what I'm saying?
I think that's a good way to put it too.
It's just like when Cube started the Big Three, basically giving athletes a chance to you know, finesse their talents after they're in their brightest of the career, because we already know the NFL and the NBA, they basically chew athletes up and spit them out. Like you in your prime and you making us the big dollars and filling up these seats for our arenas and all that shit, we uphold you. But as soon as you get injured or something like that, you know, go work at a grocery store or go figure something out, go do whatever the fuck, you know. So blacks, we need to, you know, understand the power that we have. We are the sports industry. You get what I'm saying? And I don't care who likes it or how racist it sounds. We are the sports industry, straight up. You know what I'm saying? And you can't continue to the Colin Kaepernick situation, okay, yeah, he should have just kept his mouth shut, fuck it, whatever. But bottom line is, well, that's how people say. Bottom line is he was stupid. He should just do the rock and, you know, shut up and score some touchdowns. But bottom line is, like, after they treated players like that for standing up for a real cause, that was it for me. I haven't really watched the NFL since then.
I've never looked at it the same. Yeah. And so when we think about some of the sports analysts and their comments, the ones that are, you know, black people, the ones that have attended colleges, and they're on this television and they're calling Kyrie Irving an idiot because he doesn't want to talk about the game, and they're not backing Colin Kaepernick because he's a distraction to the game. So that's a prime example of what I mean by that education didn't do shit to build that person's viewpoint of their own integrity and of who they are as an individual. They just a puppet on a string for this basketball show or this football show. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's sad
it's being taught at the college. It has to be of consequence. You know what I mean? These are educated people making these statements. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's crazy. You guys got some good points today. Very much offering things for people to think about, because that is true, especially as far as what Deez was saying with the sports. You know, they they don't want us to know anything other than how to throw the ball, how to make the touchdown. I feel like they want you to keep it at that level. They don't want you to talk about, okay, we don't want to hear about what's going on in your community. Just throw the ball. That's not right. It's not right.
Well, you know, the money, the 800 million, it has been broke down into how it's supposed to be dispersed. And they say 569 billion would be for discriminatory practices of redlining in housing loans, and 223, wait a minute, 569 for discriminatory practices and 223 billion for redlining of housings and loans between 1933 and 1977. So I can't, let me put my glasses on because I can't see that.
No, go ahead and finish what you were saying. Now, my stuff kind of coincides with that part, and I know you can't see it. It was my first time making a slide.
Yeah, but you know, it's 2.5 million blacks in California, and to me, they should just give every black person some money, and that's it, and that's all.
I mean, if it was only humane to give the Jews some money, and only humane to cash them Indians out, and only humane to, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck? So you're saying that we got equality in us as a people, that we don't deserve our you know, that we don't deserve reparations?
Yeah, they even gave
right. That's exactly what they're saying. And it goes really deep that that's why, you know, you hear a lot of people talking about, oh, this nigga on this Hotep shit and he think he woke and this, that, and the other, when people are focused on some of the true history of mankind and how these ancient civilizations flourished, and that they were civilizations that were black people. I mean, it's not even a point of sounding racist or turning a blind eye to people of other skin color. It's simply the reality of the history of mankind. They don't want us to ever recapture okay, if we're gonna keep these niggas going to work, we're gonna keep these niggas going to jail, we're not gonna give them the time to even take an interest in investigating mankind's history. Because if they have that kind of time on their hands, they're gonna uncover it. You know,
right?
They're gonna figure out what's been going on. Just like the shit it says on the US dollar that God has favored our undertaking. What the hell y'all talking about? Oh, that's what all the Egyptian symbolism is, and this, that, and the other. There's a specific reason why these other folks then got money and we haven't. Because being financially free gives you the time to focus on shit that is for your personal upbuilding versus you trading your time for money in the workforce. You know what I mean? We got that kind of time on our hands. It ain't gonna be long before we figure out what needs to be done for us to have a better understanding of who we are and what our true lineage is. That's what the shit is really about.
Right. It is. It absolutely is. One of the comments, and it's I think it's FRAQ, not frack.
Hey, I just was trying to make it real quick. You know what I'm saying?
But FRAQ, he put a comment up there. He said, we should shut down the economy and demand our shit. We keep this country running. So all we have to do is not buy or not work. And that's it. To me, it sounds just that simple. If we could all get together, like if there really is a black Twitter and there's black IG and okay, let's all agree, to agree for a moment so they could feel the impact of it. Could we get people to agree to do something like that?
It's impossible because right now the blacks, even though we only make up a certain percentage of America, our net worth is very low, but our spending is the highest. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. So then listen to that. That's what it says, though. All we have to do is not buy or not work.
Of course, but are blacks gonna wear shoes that aren't Jordans?
No, But this isn't for a long period. This isn't for a long period of time. They can wear their Jordans while they're not going to work. You know what I mean? They can sit. So it's not about what they have on for that day. It's just for us. Say if we sat for 72 hours, nobody bought anything. Nobody went.
It would hurt. It would hurt them.
Feel it. They would feel it.
It would hurt.
It's chess, not checkers. And what I mean by that, Diesel just mentioned how Black people in this country collectively have a very low net worth. And so when you talk about net worth, you're factoring in assets and liabilities. We typically do not make purchases that are relative to assets. It's more about liabilities, you know what I mean? Fancy shit that makes us look good. But the percentage of us that purchase land, the percentage of us that have belongings that would be considered an asset, shit that appreciates in value over time, we don't really own any of that. So when we're standing up saying we're going to shut down the system, well, then how are we going to survive throughout this boycott when we don't have no assets? You understand what I'm saying? We don't.
I get it. That it's a double-edged sword.
We don't produce anything. You know, we're not in production of any sort of material that's necessary for the. You know what I mean? So we're playing. We're basically what do you call it? We're bluffing our hand. Is what we would be doing if we did that.
Right, but if we stop buying gas, if we stop buying cigarettes, if we stop buying alcohol, you know what I mean? All these are high ticket items that add up across the country on a day-to-day basis. So
they tried to do that during they tried to do that during the
chitlins. But we gonna stop drinking liquor and buying gas? Come on now, niggas know that it's all bad.
I need chitlins. Okay?
I know, but I'm saying like there's a lot of people who do that talk that shit like we can do this, that, and the other, but they don't even want to give up their chitlins or their pig feet. You know, it's like, come on, man. You know, we believe that we're gonna make this stand on more important shit. We don't even want to give up the chitlins.
And here's my thing.
And this right here. We don't want to stop killing each other.
Right. That shit matters.
This is true.
We more focused on killing each other off than anything.
Right. But maybe, just maybe, since a lot of things are ruled by the almighty dollar, if maybe, just maybe, we agreed as, you know, if they knew they're going to get something out of it, if they thought they're going to get something out of it, could they stop killing niggas at that point?
No.
Okay.
Damn.
So this I think this ties right in with what we're talking about. Education, the right kind, shows the bigger picture, which can help with that. Black folks have political power, spending power, and social power, and it starts there. And I agree with that. But what we seem to lack power on is when it comes to making sacrifices for the greater good. You know, if this is your personal thing and your personal thing keeps our feet stuck in the mud, you gonna let go of that personal thing, or you gonna keep trying to, you know, stick it out, walking through this mud ankle deep because you don't want to let go of what you enjoy personally, you know?
Right.
And when everybody talks about unity, that's the first thing I go to. What personal sacrifices are we collectively? Do we even have a collective mindset? Like, yeah, I'll let go of my personal shit for the greater good of our people. The answer is no.
Yeah. And see, our celebrities and our entertainers and athletes, they can't even give back to the community because you'll be reading about them getting killed and robbed in the
news. Well, I mean, that's a good, valid point that a lot of them, Nipsey for one, and you know, it does happen. But I just think we can't give up as a whole. We can't give up and just say, well, this is never going to happen. Most niggas ain't going to do it. So I just think we have to continue to find ways to make it happen. This specific task force, the California Reparations Task Force, like I was saying to you guys when we were pre-gaming, it's a big deal because it's the first ever of its kind.
Absolutely.
So can we just jump on board to some first? Can we just try some first? You know what I mean? Like,
No,
but now,
it
you
may
know,
not
in
have
disagreement
been
with it.
something that can happen, but can't we agree to start trying now? Something?
I'm not in disagreement with it. You know, I'm backing that play, but I'm also just not going to be blind to the realities of the other issues that we have. It's like, you know, everybody could get that money tomorrow, and all those other issues are basically like a cancer that would erode the potential that we have to rebuild things on a community level. So if we're not willing to address those certain aspects,
our own means of production,
yeah,
we're still not going to do jack shit. It's going to be about Bentleys.
But we have the ability because we are smart in all those areas.
I don't think everybody's going to be.
But it's not going to stop mass incarceration. It's not going to stop mass incarceration. It's not going to stop that when Black people go to the doctor or healthcare, they are denied. You know, it's not going to stop that. It's not going to stop how everyone looks at Black people with discrimination. Everybody is from when they're a little kid raised on up. We are discriminated, and you can't say not. You can't change somebody's mindset once it's in their mind, as someone has said earlier. When it's in your mind, it's there.
They discriminate at the doctors. If you go to the doctors, you got diabetes, you got every motherfucking ailment known to man if you Black. Because
I was gonna say if you're fat.
Well, and if you're fat,
everything's because you're fat.
Yeah, because if you're overweight and you don't have any of those things, they're looking at you like you're some sort of anomaly. Like, how is this possible? You have excellent blood pressure. What are you doing in your life? Look, everybody don't eat the shit that brings, because Black folks think we're just prone to diabetes and high blood pressure and this, that, and the other. When the reality is, we're ingrained in eating shit that brings all that out. You know,
we have an American diet.
That's true.
We have an American diet and shouldn't.
Yeah,
there's things that they eat in America that don't coincide with Black people, and we choose to keep eating it, and that's why. Because you got some of these other races, they can eat what they eat, but you notice Asians, Pakistanians, Mexicans, whatever, they all eat their culture of foods. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Our culture of foods is like you was talking about, neck bones and all that, all the dead shit off of a dead animal.
Let's be clear,
off a dead animal.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what they were given as slaves. That's what they were given as slaves. It was the scraps off of the animal. So that's why that's what we in our culture.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Hey, but I knew this was going to come up. And I see one of you guys have grabbed the comment on here. It's something that we talked about on one of our previous shows too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead. Unfaded one, thank you for joining us, cuz you have a good question that was already posed to the panel. Just the term Black is discriminatory.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
We all agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very much so.
Because it basically categorizes you in the absence of any sort of nationality, homeland, like the homie mentioned earlier. So we're being broken down to a color. And then when you look at the etymology of that word, there's nothing positive about it. So that's why I said the last time we talked about it, you know, in reality, calling me Black the same as calling me nigger. You know, like you're not really giving me no more props if you really unpack it. Yeah, you know.
So I mean, if you really unpack it, that part is true. But what do you want to be called?
This is what I mean. It's not about what I want to be called. It's about recognizing that there's cultural shit that's ingrained in us that we have accepted. Oh, well, we still eat the chitlins because it was how we got over. We over it, right, nigga? Let's get something
over
else.
It. I'm over it. I tasted it one time and I was like,
you know, so it's just about recognizing the need for change. No, we don't have a certain term that we want to refer to ourselves as right now, but that doesn't mean we can't recognize that that's some bullshit. That's all I'm getting at.
No, as she stated, she said, we are the only nationality with a color as an option on a form.
Mm-hmm.
A freaking color, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like Cedric the Entertainer said about calling a man delicious. I'm
not about to call no another dude delicious.
I'm not eating no chitlins, and that's that. Like anybody could do what they want and eat that slave food, the happy food or whatever they call it, but I can't do it, man. Yeah, I'm queasy.
I was 6 years old. Mama was having USNAG, Valley Uno at the hospital, and I had to sit at the table on Thanksgiving because I said, I'm not eating that shit. And they said, you gonna eat that food? No, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not eating that shit.
Yeah.
And sat there for 3 hours.
All the shit.
It smelled like hard-boiled booty up in that moment.
It's straight ass, okay? I'm like, I'm not eating that. And sat there.
Go on and get you a bowl of this Hog Hershey Highway. You know what I'm
saying? Hey, Curl said, back up off the chitlin shit getting personal now. Chitlins for life.
Okay.
Hey, look. You ain't go. We decreasing the chances of living to see the changes that we talking about bring about as long as we eat them chitlins. We know that it's like, come on now.
She probably would have said the same thing.
Well, that's why I laughed because
she said gave up pork in 2019.
That was her response when we first got on the chitlins.
So look, gave up pork in 2019, but prior to that,
fuck them chitlins up.
Yeah, you know, but that's what I'm talking about. Just the willingness to do different. Can we at least have the willingness to do different? You know, that's the beginning of manifestation to me. Like, okay, you know, you want to become a certain way, you want to have shit a certain way. I'm willing to live like this in order to get me here. I'm willing to not do this in order to not prevent myself from embracing the shit that I see. What are we willing to give up? And that's what I meant about this personal shit that, hey, man, I'm carrying this. That's why I can't get my feet out the mud. That's why I'm trading.
Right.
You know, well, you slowing the whole crew down. I know, but this is my shit. You know, if we can't even get past that mindset, a lot of this shit we talking about is a dream. We got $1 in a dream.
Well, you know, first of all, they know that material and fame and status is a lot of what our race cares about. You know, how much money they have, what materialistic stuff they have, and recognition. That's why you see more Black people on billboards and on commercials and all this other kind of stuff, because they want to think that they're doing something by having us be there, but they're not really doing anything at all. That's just putting a Band-Aid on something. You don't really give a damn about us.
Mm-hmm.
It's fool's gold. It's fool's gold.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why, like, I hate to say it, but like Kevin Hart or you know, Snoop Dogg and some of those really successful, filthy rich Black dudes, like Snoop tries a little bit, but you know, I think it's like a cliche. Okay, let's give to the cancer.
This main bitch is white.
No, but I'm just saying, let's give to the Cancer Foundation, right? But here it is, the good old white folks gave $733 trillion to the Cancer Association already. They gonna be all right without our black dollar. You get what I'm saying? Like,
but that's one of the things I be talking about. Okay, so it's not highly publicized and it's not directly confirmed, but we know in the early 90s, Magic Johnson publicly came out and said, hey, man, I got HIV. Magic Johnson shit ain't never turned, you know, progressed into AIDS. Okay, and the reason for that, holistic medicine. So we go back into the Dr. Sebi's and all this other shit, you know, that any form of sickness that lives in the human body, it's directly related to mucus production, which is directly related to the shit that we eat, shit that we ingest. You know what I'm saying? So why the fuck are we putting money into the Cancer Foundation when we know that they're keeping that alive? How about
they are
behind this holistic medicine, this herbal diet, you know, shit that's actually gonna change our internal makeup and give us a better shot at living a lengthy life. It's easy.
Thinking that too.
I gave some money away, but what did it really go to?
Because we know.
I was thinking that too. How do you train yourself though to eat for life? Or
don't eat the foods that cause cancer.
No. Duh. I'm talking about like, how do you train the mind to eat for substance? You know, you're just eating for the body to keep going instead of eating for glory. Like
any nigga that did any length of time in any incarceration setting, which is a lot of us, should clearly understand that there are times where you're eating for survival. This shit, it don't taste good.
That's what I'm trying to get out is like how. So that's the only way to do it because in there you don't have any control over whether or not somebody puts some money on your books, how much money you're going to have for canteen. That's different. That's a different set of circumstances. But if you're out here and you have free will, then you're used to eating certain things. It's hard because I've been trying to tell myself, like, I want to just eat things like beet juice and I want to make sure that I'm eating fruits and vegetables and things that I know are good for me. But then Lay's potato chips, that's hereditary. Like they be calling me like it's mama.
Here's the thing. You can eat that shit, but you have to eat it in moderation.
No, we really shouldn't eat anything with high fructose corn syrup in it because that's really fucking us all up.
If you get a small ass little grab bag of Lay's potato chips and you only eat that motherfucker once a month, you're not gonna. The effects will probably never catch you.
Yeah, that's possible. That's possible, you know. But I mean, it comes down to. Again, are we eating for flavor or are we eating for sustenance?
I don't even eat potato chips, so I don't even like. And that's
do you eat cookies?
That's probably blasphemy. Every once in a while, I eat sweets. I every once in a while, I don't drink soda. Every once in a while, I might have a soda, but
I gave up soda
out of a 30-day span.
Thing for me to give up. Like sodas is the easiest thing for me to give up, especially when I hadn't had it for a long time. And then I drank one and I was like, oh my God, like it literally burned. It burned and it hurt. So I knew then I was like, okay, that was easier to give up. But every now and then I'll have a Sprite. I will. But for the most part, sodas isn't my biggest thing. But even like portions of food, even if you're eating the right thing, you have to remember to have smaller portions. And I think that helps to kind of lead into our other topics that we're going to be talking about today, which we could save for whenever you guys are ready. But health, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It is. And I think it's something that just doesn't get enough attention in our community. And we find all the reasons in the world to avoid making better changes. Myself included. I'm not throwing no shade at nobody, but I'm just saying that that's something we gotta come away from. You know, if we're not willing to at least give something a shot and see how we feel afterward, then it's like, man.
My daughter right now is doing a cleansing, all fruit cleansing right now with all fruit with berries and melons and cabbage.
But you gotta sit on the toilet the whole time.
Yeah.
You can't leave the bathroom during them cleanses. You just put your bed in the bathroom.
Man.
Yeah, that's what she said. It's gonna be hard because she got to go to work, but she needs to do that because she has allergies to something and it's tearing her up right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just crazy because the almighty dollar controls everything, and that's the reason why a lot of things have happened. You know, like you guys were saying, the Cancer Foundation. Cancer is still is a leading killer of people because they wanted to kill people or they wanted to infect people so the pharmaceutical companies can make more money.
No, that ain't it.
Mm-hmm.
They know it's McDonald's, it's Burger King, it's motherfucking goddamn Kentucky Fried Chicken and all. We know that all that shit is bad for us. So it's like a slap in the face. They package this shit up and they make these songs and jingles that we remember in our head. We make chicken good and all this old type of shit.
It's not just that. It's not just that either, though. But it's shit that goes in the microwave. Microwavable food is bad for us. You know, that shit is bad for us too. It's water. It's stuff in the water that's bad for us. It's cell phones is bad for us. Everything that's making them money is bad for us.
So, at what point do you, as the people, at what point do you say, you know what? Some of this shit, like we should all make a law to where fast food is abolished. That shit need to be eliminated.
Some people wouldn't even know what to do.
You know that. I mean, you know, shit. They got to get that back down to it. It's not about whether or not you know what to do. What you gonna do with what you got is the question. You know,
right?
McDonald's has human meat in it.
Well, you know, our grandmother, their generation, they had pantries full of canned food and dried foods that they went back and survived off of. You know, I couldn't tell you majority of half of these people that we know have canned goods, well, not canned goods, but jarred foods or stuff like that that's in their pantries that we could if something was ever to break out or a national disaster, we would be jacked up.
Right, because we're going to be trying to eat our Jordans and our Birkin bags. We're going to be forced to eat our Jordans and Birkin bags and bits and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And our chains. We're going to have to eat our chains, our Birkins, Bentleys, and Jordans.
Right.
Well, I mean, with all that people have, they should start. That's why you have to have the importance of growing things. You know, it's important to grow. You be able to know how to cultivate the land and live off the land and the things that are there and available to you.
We about to have to find out about all of that if this shit happens with the U.S. currency. We're gonna be having to do gardens in our backyard. Matter of fact, we need to be going to buy some seeds this week because we might be forced into. I was forced into this way of life.
Right. Right. I didn't ask for this shit.
Look at him. Kareem Akbar.
Oh shit. Yeah, it just may not be as easy, you know. It may not be as easy as we want it to be.
Yeah. So what's the crazy part is blacks have the knowledge to build homes. We have we did all the labor. So for us to not have these home building companies, these landscaping companies, it's like our people think we are allergic to regular labor. We think that we're supposed to automatically have wealth. We don't, you know, and then we say, oh, we look at these other people and say that they got more than what we got. Man, he was just a normal dude. His family picked fucking onions, so he decided to make a onion motherfucking business or whatever over here, and it stank like a motherfucker. He come home stinking like a motherfucker, but all his bills is paid, and he run his motherfucking shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We tend to be above shit like that. Like we
don't. Well, and it even comes down to vehicles. I back in the day, I dated this guy and he had a Corvette and his grandfather was getting on him and saying, everybody has to own a truck. You should own a truck. And, you know, we really don't understand the importance of it. But if you think back in the day, everybody had a pickup truck because they were going to haul wood to build something. They were hauling something. They had that as an ability to get the things that they need and bring them back home. I don't think that Bugatti is going to fit what you need to get if it all comes down to it.
Yeah, I think a pickup truck is synonymous with a house, you know, because and it's small shit, but over time it makes a difference. You know, did you have to pay somebody to deliver this item that you just purchased, or did you just pull the pickup truck outside to the back, throw your shit on there and bring it home? Whether you're talking about appliances, furniture, whatever, you know, can we eliminate the middleman on that? I miss my pickup truck. You be on Facebook Marketplace and be like, man, I could go get this, but I got to find out how I'm gonna get over there first. Let me call this person, this, that, and now it's gone because you ain't had a pickup truck. You know,
right? Or now you had to pay them to go pick it up, so now
exactly.
it costs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So those are the small things, like you said, that we have to think of in the bigger picture of everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, just like over here in the Oak Park area where they were building up these houses, and these Russians came through and built up these 2 houses in 1 month, because they all stuck together. One had a truck, they went and got this, the other one went and got that, and it was all they all worked together, and it was done in 1 month.
And also back in the day, people used the barter system. They were able to barter. I have these bricks, you have this cement, or you have this. So I'm going to trade you this, and we're going to trade that. People are not willing to use the barter system. That's how a lot of things were handled before.
And that's why everything is so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the barter system has been abandoned.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I really think that that's something that aids in the building and maintaining of the village, so to speak, because by using the barter system, you can see your neighbor, you can see your neighbor's value, and they can see yours. He's able to do this, I'm able to do this. But without us coming together on that, this particular project may not get completed. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I see him as valuable. I see her as valuable for what they can bring to the table that I can't, and vice versa. But when it's all about money, how do we gauge a person's value now? Do we even know the skill set of our neighbor?
Well, see, back when there was a area where Blacks were flourishing, and we had our own community, and everybody was surviving and living, it's because everybody knew what everybody can do and what they could do for each other. And when Bob needed this, he could go to Stan, and Stan had this that he could go to Leroy or whatever,
And just understand that everybody ain't gonna be the one,
Right. But together we pack a mighty blow. Together, everybody, it's gonna take a little bit of everybody bringing whatever it is that they're good at, because everybody's not gonna be good at everything. But together, somebody's good at something. You good at this, and it's all about delegating who's good at what, coming together and making it happen.
And accepting that, though.
Right.
I think that's the problem that we have,
Right.
That would be something that would have to be, we'd have to wean ourselves off of that over time, because like I was saying, in Black Wall Street in Oklahoma, before all that pillaging went on down there, and they basically burnt the shit up. Some of the people there were hotel owners. Some of the people there were doctors, the pharmacists, all that type of stuff. But guess what? There was also people that were janitors. There were also doormen at the hotels. Like, everybody understood that I play a part in the collective growth. Right now, that's something that our people got a problem with. Who this nigga is, think he got, this, that, and the other, trying to do all. He's a doctor.
I ain't gonna be no janitor.
He's a doctor, huh? You know what I mean? We got to be able to accept whatever our role is in the collective, and that's gonna take practice.
I don't know. It's very grim when I think about our future as African Americans, Blacks, Negroes, whatever you want to call it. We're not looking too good.
Yeah, but we can't look at it from our own perspective of our own lifetime. If we plant the seeds that, the trees may not provide shade until, our grandchildren are adults.
Mm-hmm.
The work is still necessary.
Not either, though, because we know right now the kids that are being born to this generation are going to be worse than this generation, because they're not going to have a working man building community type mentality. They're going to have this scam, quick, jewelry, money, valuables type mentality. And at the end of the day, like I said, if something was to happen right now and the shit hit the fan and money didn't have power the way it did, we gonna be sitting up eating Jordans and motherfucking gold chains.
Or we gonna be in the backyard growing our own food.
And that's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen.
Because it really just comes down to the mentality of the particular individual. And that's the one thing I'm saying. Everything you're saying is true, but it does not apply on a larger scale. That's going to be a smaller percentage.
About 90% of us that aren't going to be ready for that.
Well, it's not a matter of being ready when it happens. Do you fall in line when it happens? And I think the ones who will fall in line make up a greater majority. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so what are we going to do today that's going to actually reach? Because at this point, you got the children that we have, their children, and their children. The change comes somewhere after the last set of children I named.
The change comes now. The change comes now and trickles down to those children, right?
We're still in the argumentative phase of a lot of things, though. We still haven't found a way to be unified. And until the unification happens, none of the other stuff is going to be able to set into play. It doesn't matter how
I hate to sound selfish right now, but the unification starts with 4 corners right now. So the 4 corners, as long as we are in line, you know what I mean? And as long as we continue to grow our knowledge, share it amongst each other, and decide ways to make our family better, we have to be specific to our family at this point. We have to be specific to our children, because we can put it out here in hopes to save all of the communities. That's what we can do is put it out here to save all the communities. But where the responsibility lies is in our families. Would you guys not agree with that?
I definitely agree with that. But there's a couple of things that I think about that gives me a sense of hope. Number one is that the viewpoint that we have is based on the experience that we've had in our lifetime and in the social setting of our lifetime. So the ones coming up behind us, their experience, the way society looked, all of that is completely different for them. So they can, because of that, have a different view. The landscape looks different to them. They're going to come up with ideas and thought processes that we wouldn't readily come up with, because their whole experience is different than the one that we have. So they're going to have different viewpoints and different solutions that they can bring to the table simply because of that. Another thing that I think about when you were asking Dees about what if the money fell out the bottom right now, we know one thing is for sure, whether it helped our community or not, I think the quality that it displays when we think about anybody, whether it's the BMF, Frank Lucas, even the lower level dope dealers, okay? They have shown that put me in a situation that appears destitute and I will make a way. That quality is going to be to our benefit. Hold on, hear me out. That quality would be to the benefit of the community if the bottom fell out of the dollar tomorrow, because that mindset that they have is something that they're naturally inclined toward. It's no longer being used toward the dope game, but it's still a quality that can be beneficial. You see what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as being disadvantaged, we definitely going to be able to survive with less if something like that happened. We're more geared to survive with less because we're already so far down. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, Black's been surviving with less for a long time. I just think that the grandiosity mindset and, the only way a Black can be relevant is if he's filthy rich or she's filthy rich or this idea we got that the only way we mean something to society is if we're filthy rich.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll hold on to that for now because I don't want to steer away from the point that you were making. So,
I mean, and let's face it, you got a good point. I just hate to minimize my people's thought process into that being all we are. I'd rather look at the cup half full. And so, I mean, maybe it's the dreamer in me that believes that, that pressure bust pipes and that we can do better. And that in all circumstances, our people are able to rise above whatever comes our way. We've shown as a people that we are survivors. We have survived slavery. We have survived police brutality. We are surviving all the things that were designed to bring us down. So in my mind,
surviving though, I want to live. Fuck surviving.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's true. That's true.
We are our worst enemy at this point. It's not a myth. It's not some far-fetched thing. We are actually our worst enemy right now.
Mm-hmm.
But all of that's by design, though, and I think that's the thing that we have to we have to first understand that the mindsets that are prevalent within our community base. It's not like niggas just woke up and said, "Hey, this is the best way for us to do this." It's all by design, and that's why we got to unstitch a whole lot of stuff and then redesign our own garments, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean? There's a lot of unstitching that has to be done, and part of that unstitching is also us being like, it ain't never gonna happen, because that is a mindset that is also a result of all the shit that has taken place. Our inability to believe in our own power. Even though I understand what you're saying and I agree with your points, we still have to see that for what it is. You know what I mean?
Right. And if we believe that words have power, we should just breathe in positive words on our people. Breathe out that it can happen, that change can happen.
Yes.
Some of these things are conditional. These are conditions, like Valley was saying. It's all been a design, to pour our neighborhoods with drugs, to remove the fathers from the families, to do all these things. This was a design. This was a intricated plot to bring us down as a people. So once we realize that, then we're able to pick up away and chisel away all these different things that we know were done by design.
The only reason I say what I say is because I spent a long time in prison, and even in prison, knowing that a lot of us have sentences that a white boy could have done the same exact thing or a worse variation of the crime and got less time than us. Even though we know we all sitting there on the frying pan where they're trying to make it to where we don't have get back, basically.
Right.
Niggas still can't figure out how to unify and prison looks like Africa already. So it's
right.
Like, we have all the fucking power in there, period. We're supposed to have all the power, all of it, not some of it, all of it, because we're the predominant number in that motherfucker.
Right.
I hear what you're saying, but I think human psychology comes into play there. When you have a group of people. So like, people from the older generation used to tell us, I don't understand how, what went wrong with blacks, and, we used to be unified and this, that, and the other. Okay, that's great that I get to hear all those stories, but it's not a part of my reality. There's no part of my existence where I can ever look at any realm of my life or time frame and say, yeah, blacks were united. That shit is that might as well be Jesus walking on water, as far as I'm concerned. I ain't never seen it.
We do see examples on Soul Train, Bill Cosby, and all them getting together. We see it times of happier.
I'm talking about in reality. We ain't never walked out our house and seen.
I'm just saying this, of course, but realistically, we should have seen it. But when
the civil
rights movement ended, or I can't say it ever ended because it should have never ended technically, but blacks are so scarisome that all you got to do is blow a couple of niggas' heads off, like Martin Luther King and a couple other influential niggas, and now niggas is too scared to protest. Like, you know, like we have that fear in us to where the almighty powers that could be can shut us down by making an example of motherfuckers, and that's what's made us scared of unity. Is because
that shit is passed on genetically, though, because because of the trauma in the DNA, and a lot of people will say we're full of shit for saying that, but there's scientific evidence to support that, and so
absolutely true.
Yeah, it's passed on, and until it's just like if you're running around and you don't know you got diabetes, you don't understand what your body is going through. But once you have been diagnosed, it's time to take responsibility for whatever that ailment is and do whatever is necessary for you to overcome that, or at least manage it to the best of your ability. So since we know that's something that has been passed on genetically, how do we reprogram our minds, you know?
Because you think them cops in LA wanted to see Nipsey bring South Central LA, you know, in LA, the slums of LA up to a higher level like that to eliminate their jobs? To cause these cutbacks and police reform to kick in and all these things. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want that. I seen something on the internet. I don't support conspiracy theories. That's why you really don't hear me talk about that shit too much, because I feel like blacks have focused too hard on conspiracy theories instead of like what's really going on. But if anybody, you know, I think that it had something to do with him having meetings with the police, and you know, I think they seen what was about to happen with what he was doing, and they just couldn't allow that to happen for the gangs to be at peace out there. They wasn't gonna let that happen because the police are getting drug money too. The police are getting some of that illegal money as well.
A lot of
the COs are getting drug money. The COs are getting,
of course, and that's why cell phones are rampant in prison, drugs are rampant in prison, because the COs refuse to lose out on the money.
Of course.
Yeah, I can make thousands. It's $3,000 for a shoebox, basically. A prison police will take this shoebox right here. You pay them about $2,000 or $3,000. They'll fill it up with whatever you want in that motherfucker, basically.
Right.
Whatever can fit in that shoebox, that's basically what you get. And so you figure if they do that, how many times a month you think they're gonna bring in that shoebox?
I think the corruption piece I think the corruption piece is something we can't get away from, though. You know, it's like that's one of them topics. When you're faced with it, you deal with it. But outside of that, we can't really give attention to that, because as long as human beings exist, that's never going away. Never. You know what I mean? It's a part of human nature, you know? But I think because we were talking about the effect that the trauma over the generations has had on our genetic makeup, on our DNA makeup, you know what I mean? And the fear factor that you mentioned. So blacks and religion, and the religion is based on, it's centered around the ideology of fear. You're afraid of not going to heaven. You're afraid of not having God's favor. You're afraid of letting the devil in your door. Afraid. So when we talk about making changes, that's the type of shit that also has to be a part of the story. Like, how do we keep feeding this fear that we have just admitted is a problem for us? There's a lot of shit that we have to do. But again, personally, I'm going to keep my ankles in the mud because I don't personally want to let go of this shit. I know it might be good for the collective, but this is my weight that I'm bearing, and I'm going to keep my feet ankle deep in the mud. Are we willing to make personal sacrifices for the greater good? And I think Black people have some learning to do in that regard.
Right. We don't have any coalitions anymore. We don't have meetings where we get together, a whole bunch of us get together and talk about things that we can do to change things. There's no structure to get things going.
Because positivity, Black people are allergic to positivity. It has to be some sort of scandal. It has to be some sort of treachery, and somebody gets slapped. Somebody has to be getting slapped, or somebody's wig got to be getting pulled out, or so.
And that's so ignorant.
Yeah, we don't give a fuck about like the right shit. We want all bad, negative bullshit. That's the only thing that stimulates us.
Right.
It's a big part of it, but again, I can't go on the only, like that's all we want, because I still think that that's a selective group of people. And then there are other people who are struggling with, okay, I know this is an issue, so I'm minimizing the shit that I allow myself to be exposed to on this regard because I'm focusing so hard over here. But I do not think that that's all Black people want. I think that's what
why are they still talking about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock going on the second? Over a year has passed and going into the second year now already. We still seeing Kevin Hart, all these comedians, Chris Rock, everybody's still talking about the shit that happened. If we don't like that, why are we?
I didn't say it wasn't true. I'm saying that I think it's a percentage of people. That's all I'm getting at. I don't think that that's something that can be definitively said. This is what Black people, if they Black, they're gonna love this. I don't agree with that. That's what I'm saying. There are some of us that thoroughly recognize I can't even expose myself to this type of bullshit because I understand what it's gonna do to my mind. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. I know that there's people that are glorifying that shit, but that's the type of person that this conversation ain't really for them. And I hate to say it like that, but that's the reality,
Well, I mean, and I kind of, again, me, I want to believe that this conversation is for them, because then all of a sudden they have a different avenue and a different way to think about it. Let's bring something different to what their regular programming, what they already believe to be true. Let's add some spice to it. Let's give them another way to look at the entire situation. I don't want to believe that a whole group of people are lost. I agree with you both. I agree with these. There's that culture of people who are into only those things. They're only into name brands. They're only into violence. They're only into negativity. But I know there's also a whole group of other people who are welcoming change, who are interested in change. They may just be used to their mama and their grandma being in a Baptist church and being Bible thumpers. So that's what they know. So now it's all about deprogramming them and them trying to find out, what is the truth? Where can I find the truth? Okay, the truth is within.
Mm-hmm.
Because your truth is your truth. The truth is within. So it's just about for people to try to identify that. That's all. I just think people, they are a little nervous to the unseen. They are used to what they're used to. But we have to be able to continue to say, hey, we know that religion was brought to slaves in order for them to say, hey, don't do this because God's, so it is a fear tactic. We understand that.
Yeah.
So in understanding that, we have to be mindful to people who are just now trying to get the bottom line of that. You know what I mean? And so everybody's not going to get it overnight. But in order for it to work, we have to still keep pumping the information out.
Though. It hasn't been overnight. We've been on the downslide since we were let out of slavery, basically.
Here's the thing. We know for a fact that there was a Black Wall Street, right?
Multiple.
We know that it, right. So we know that it exists, and we know that it was taken down. So obviously all the mines burned up. All the mines were not, oh, we just gonna go do this. There were mines that said that there were mines that said, I can be more. I can start from the bottom. Okay.
Right. Right.
And they were able to build, is what I'm saying. And then it was taken away. So yes, fear came again because it was removed from them. And generations might not have been as willing to do the footwork as they were before. And so that's what it's our responsibility to remind them, hey, we got to get out here and do the footwork.
I don't know if this is what he was saying when he said this, but I look at this like I was kind of going to say something about that a second ago. How is it that the only time blacks had some get right was when we was being controlled by somebody else? To me, that's crazy.
Because that's what we have been. That's what I meant
Ever
when I said
we came to over here, we've been being controlled by somebody else.
That's all, and that's what I meant when I said it's the trauma is passed genetically.
Right.
And until we can recognize that, we can't really get over the hump. You know, again, the Bible says appreciate serving your master. But if you look at Christianity and its growth in different places throughout this world, more often than not, the introduction of the Christian religion in that particular land goes hand in hand with the colonization of that land. For me, that's enough to see that for what it really is. If you bring this in throughout the process of taking over this land, I see that for what it is. It's a psychological weapon that is used to subjugate people to the system that you're putting in place. You know what I mean?
People submit.
Right.
Turn the other cheek. Yeah.
And he said he didn't mean that in a good way. We knew that. We seen the evidence of that. You know?
I'm gonna go around the corner. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go around the corner. I'm gonna shoot these 5 niggas, right? And shoot up in these houses and shoot 4-year-olds if need be, and speed all down the highway at reckless speeds. But when these cops show up, I'm gonna jump my black ass out this car and put on these cuffs.
So this is going to be really, really controversial, but something that Charleston White said in relation to them 4 blacks that went down there to Mexico and got shot up. And
I think I need a drink, Charleston White.
Hey, look, hear me out though. He was like, black folks always talking this, we down, we got the power and all this, that, and the other. He said, but man, United States ain't finna do nothing about them fools that got shot up over there. Mexico showed us how they thought about us when we shot them up. He said, if black folks was really about it like they really claim to be, anybody that's anywhere near close to a border, brother, they be whooping their ass, stabbing them up, shooting them up, saying, look, we don't appreciate you doing that to our people. But again, no, for real. The fear factor, though. So it's easy to talk that power to the people. We got the power and this, that, and the other. But in the same breath, we don't have the power to stop eating shit that's killing us. We don't have the power to stop believing in things that don't serve us. So are we powerful or are we weak?
George Zimmerman.
Exactly. George walking around chilling. He going to the movies, eating pizza in public, sitting at bars. He doing it his way. But it's power to the people, though. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, but look,
we lying to
ops, though. We're gonna go get them ops, though.
Exactly.
We're gonna get them. We're gonna get them food.
Granted, it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time. Okay, we have work to do as a unit. We understand that. We get it. Everybody's not ready, you know. But it's baby steps for now until the shit hits the fan and we are forced, because it's going to be a time where we're going to be forced. It's either going to be a race war. It's going to be what you said in regards to the dollar bill. It's going to come a time when it's going to be either hood up or shut up.
It's going to be another civil war is what it's going to be.
And I think the time is now. And I think that making your mind over shit, it's as simple as overnight.
Well, they call it.
You look in the mirror and you say, man, after I thought about all this shit, I realized, you know, for lack of a better term, I'm on some bitch shit. I'm on some hoe shit. Right. Hold on, hear me out. The stuff that I'm on don't match the stuff that I'm preaching myself to be. So we got it should be that simple overnight.
Special announcement to anybody who is out there killing people of the same color as them. Stop that shit. Stop that shit. So yeah, that right there shouldn't be hard at all. That
so
shouldn't be hard. That's something I want to be clear on. That's what I wasn't talking about, that, because that is something that you can change right away. Stop that shit. Just don't do that. You know, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I ain't coming for you. I ain't coming for you, cuz. But this is an example of what I'm talking about. That nigga Charleston White, whole life cap. Okay, even a fool can tell you something. Absolutely. Why do we have to be completely aligned with the person's whole lifestyle, their whole life story, to see the value in something that was said? That's another thing that we as Black folks, we do too often. I'm not fit to go sit down and have drinks with that nigga and barbecue with him and exchange life stories. But
Mama always said a fool can tell you something.
I seen the value in the point that he was making. You know what I mean?
Like, if you late for work and you 5-10 minutes late for work, you've been probably late a couple times that week. You know what I'm saying? What's the first thing you finna do? You finna get in your car and drive faster than you normally drive, right?
Or get up earlier. Yeah, you're gonna make an adjustment. Yeah.
All right. So that's what I mean when I say there is no baby steps. We late for work. We got to speed the fuck up or make an earlier wake up time.
Yeah, real talk. Real talk.
We're past baby steps.
Yeah.
We are past baby steps when it comes to Black on Black crime. We need to stop that shit.
And the acceptance of Black on Black crime. Like I was on Instagram and they was talking about King Von. He jumped out the car, ran up on the nigga, punched him, then got shot and killed, right? And so my comment was, this nigga had a hit album about to come out. He was about to basically take over the game.
Mm-hmm.
Wound up getting shot and killed, left 3 kids behind, and a bunch of grieving family members. And
yes.
So, and I said that was stupid. You know, all to prove that you could whoop a nigga ass, basically.
It's even deeper than that, because for him to think that was so much important, it's like the line from that J. Cole song where he said, you know, he's talking about his girl not understanding his viewpoint. You'll never understand what it's like to be a man, knowing when you look inside yourself, you see a nigga. It's about lacking value of self.
Right.
Otherwise, why would you even be on that? You know what I mean? Like, why are you worried about who's
all he was supposed to be doing was promoting his new album? That was it.
He didn't see himself as valuable enough to break away from that mindset. That's part of the mental poisoning that takes place. You know,
I'm gonna do what I always do, and I'm gonna bring it to the panel. I can never forget. Okay, I can never forget. One night, my brother was out promoting his album. Supposed to be a friendly, you know, fun times, great times, everybody. Okay, we're out to promote the album. How did our night end? Me shaking
bad.
in the van, scared to freaking death. Oh my God!
Yeah. It went bad.
All bad. So we know for a fact this shit can go all bad. Okay.
No.
Okay. But hold on.
No, that's a different scenario. We were minding the difference is we wasn't the aggressors of that type of shit.
Exactly.
We were not the aggressors.
Exactly.
We were not
that's
the aggressors.
Point I was about to make.
Okay.
You know, yeah. So I get what you're saying. It can happen. It can happen. But when you're the one pushing that envelope, that's on you. We wasn't pushing that envelope.
And that is on you, but I'm saying
this way we're gonna respond in kind. Right. And that's what we did.
Sometimes you could be out there minding your business on some good shit, trying to elevate yourself and be hit with a scenario that now affects everybody. That's all I'm saying. You know, I mean,
a motherfucker told me I was dumb for looking at it that way, right? And we know that in our country, in the United States, that Black men and arguments almost always lead to a confrontation that almost leads to a shooting or some sort of violence.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So how can I sit back and say that going and socking a nigga up in his face to get him to agree with you, or because he got you fucked up some kind of way, how is that a smart move?
So I'm not saying that his was. In fact, my son, I always talk about it all the time. My son, he's a fan of his. He followed his music history. I don't relate to the younger generation's music or their reasoning.
To his music. I ain't gonna front. He had a hit album, and that's that. He really did that. But
then, if you say but, then everything you said before that doesn't matter.
No. The reason why I say but is he was 26 years old. So to him, all that shit probably was important. But to go to prison, beat a life sentence and some murders, get out, blow up, come out with a hit, make some hits, and have a hit album, 3 kids, and then just, I don't know, to throw it all away for street cred.
He threw it away with his music. And I know niggas ain't gonna agree with me on that, but that's what I was gonna say when you were talking about Maya, about you can go out and things might happen. How come it doesn't happen in any other genre of music? Because we can't. This is what I mean when I say we be on some bullshit.
Yeah,
oh, it's power to the people. It's manifest. It's speaking. It's speaking.
Well, okay, let's just
hear me out.
Ray Cyrus involved in the shooting.
We can't say that we believe in the power of manifestation and speaking shit into existence and be fucking fool enough to think that that only applies to the good. It just so happened that I was dodging bullets. Your whole entire music catalog is about that sort of energy. So you still brought it on yourself.
The catalog is about how you
still brought it on yourself.
Yeah. How you murder somebody and
his catalog was more on some victimizing people shit.
Okay.
Laws of attraction.
Either way,
victims have been known to circle back around and be like, okay, you're gonna have to see about that now.
Right. By no stretch of the imagination am I condoning, by no stretch of the imagination am I or any of my co-hosts condoning any type of murderous crimes or anything like that.
I'm promoting against Zimmerman.
Okay, unless it applies to George Zimmerman, I can't even, what the fuck can I say against that? Don't do it. I mean, if y'all got a good clean shot, do it. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, shit. Let me see here.
If niggas started taking shots at motherfuckers like that, all hell would break loose.
Right. I mean, but if you took the right shots, if you got the right people out of the way,
know what I mean? Hell would break loose.
What's this right here?
Let it break loose. You know what I mean? Because everybody should have a gun.
Yeah.
Everybody
I was gonna say, if you want to bring him in, you got to hit the invite button down there, and then you'll have to send it to him through your Facebook or however you guys are linked.
He's
Facebook.
on.
Whose page is he on?
He's on the YouTube.
Oh, he's on the YouTube.
See the YouTube sign.
Damn it. What did I just do?
Don't you hit the more thing?
Okay. So is he not your Facebook friend, Deez?
I've never seen him on my Facebook page.
I don't think so. I don't think he's on my Facebook.
Invite Cuzzo on. Is she on somebody's Facebook?
Yeah, she's on mine.
When you hit invite, it sends you a link.
That's what I'm getting at, and Messenger is one of them. So if he's because otherwise you're gonna have to put your email in the chat, bro. I mean, if you even really want to do that, because
hold on.
Email is the only other option for us to send you that link. But yeah.
Okay, so I just want to piggyback. We started out talking about reparations. Would we ever see it? How we would go about getting it? And then we kind of led into this great conversation that we're having about some of the steps that we need to take as a people prior to even getting the reparations. You know what I mean? So I just, can you guys see all the comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, unless you talking about comments from your page, because I don't know if we did.
No, these aren't coming from my Facebook. I think these are coming from YouTube though. Now that I'm looking at it, because when
it has the YouTube sign, the ones that have the Facebook logo are coming from Facebook, and the ones that have the
Well, the only reason why I asked, because it seems as if the only Facebook interactions are people from my page, so that's why I don't know if anybody had went and did
no, I don't think anybody joined on my end. I don't think anybody joined on my end.
That ain't what I was getting at. I'm talking about the privacy settings. If anybody had did that when we started the show,
we've been past that for a long time.
Okay. I got to do it every week. So, I mean,
me too. I have to, because it
reverts back every time. I got to do it every week.
It pops back off my minds too.
Okay.
Oh, okay. PMC said, "I am here, sis."
Right, but that don't mean that. I don't know. You know why people ain't tapped in then? Because
okay, I see you, sis. Thank you for joining.
What's going on with you, Pam?
How come my stuff? I did my thing. I don't know. I'm gonna have to revisit those settings at another point. But
yeah, did you figure it out yet, Deez?
Nah, he put his name down there, but
oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and do it then.
It must not be Gmail though.
Oh
no,
yeah.
I think that's his.
It has to be. It has to be we got to have the dot whatever, whether it's Yahoo dot, Gmail dot. What you got, bro? You on Gmail, Yahoo?
He don't want to put it on there, which
right. Well, this is a small platform at this point, and we could delete it afterwards, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I was asking if you guys were linked on Facebook, because then you could just have that conversation on Messenger on the backside. And
hold on, let me just.
But yeah, though, I don't know. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I think a lot of it starts with a willingness to adjust our mindset on certain things.
He said he did. That's on Facebook. He added us on Facebook.
No. He said deleted FB because I got issues. Then
no, that's Tamiko.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad. He said he did what?
Okay, hold on. I just texted her and told her to send the stuff to you guys so that we could add them on. Did you guys want to piggyback onto something else real quick while we wait for we can get
into the topic about the mass shootings. I mean,
because they really are all they don't go coincide with each other, but they're of equal importance to the people.
Yeah,
some of them didn't actually happen.
I agree with that. I think the way it was put to us in the chat, I guess you had seen one of Olivia,
and I'm gonna,
and okay, and today marks the 89th shooting on school grounds this year. There have only been 86 days in 2023, and this on that particular day. We understand that may not reflect the dates of the year as far as right now, but on the particular day that this was posted, there have been 89 school shootings and in a number of 86 days. So that's a big deal.
That is very much a big deal. So
I'm gonna cross-reference that. I always do, because that's just
and you should. I believe the person where I got it down from is at the bottom of the picture that I had. But I also
shooting database.
Yeah, K-12 school shooting database. And I left that on there, and I also got the papers. Oops, let me go back. Papers for all the list of the school shootings, where they have taken place at. Are you guys able to scroll through my presentation?
I can, because there we go, right there. I don't know why you was flying through them like that.
Well, because I didn't know.
Okay, this is the same thing I'm looking at. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So hold on.
It's countless of them.
Sorry, guys. I should have been a little bit more prepared. In regards, so
Okay,
what I had,
so I want to ask a question. Does it happen to indicate what is actually taking place? Because
it doesn't. It doesn't.
was
What I
somebody running from the police with a gun and hid on school campus?
That's what they're talking about, basically. Any school, any shooting that happened on a campus.
Because this one in Sacramento right here, man, that would have been all over the news. Like somebody actually shooting up a school.
Are we sure?
It happened on March 6th. We'll look it up real quick.
Okay. So this is what I was gonna say in regards, because I was looking up mass shootings, right? And that post that Olivia made was in regards to school shootings. Okay. So
Right.
this list right here is this list of shootings.
Oh, so you're saying this list isn't necessarily school shootings.
Right. This school is in regards to mass shooting.
Which to me is just a fucking shooting.
Right. Well, because I mean, when I look
they put this terminology on it. Like
this is what they're talking about. They're talking about the shit that happened downtown.
Okay. Here's what I'm getting at though. They play the word game. Because how often is it that a shooting takes place and only one person is shot? The majority of the time when shootings kick off, there's a multitude of people, multiple people get injured. So if all it takes is 2 or more to be considered a mass shooting, then 98% of the damn shootings are mass shootings. Don't play the word game.
I think one of our guests, AJ Moore, made a comment and she said 4 or more people shot is considered a mass shooting.
Okay, so then how come you have this list right here with all these? Okay, hear me out though. Before you respond, look at the numbers. On numbers injured, 7, 0, 2, 2, 1. Right. So according to whoever comprised this list, it needed to be 4 or more.
Right.
Actually, that happened. The one on the 2200 block of Rogue River Drive left 2 people dead and 2 hospitalized, and one of the hospitalized victims died on Thursday, March 9th. So 3 people wound up dying. It says in a shooting around 1:15 a.m. on Rogue River Drive near Highway 50 and White Avenue.
Okay. So was this an altercation or just some random dude that said, you know what, man, I'm gonna go ahead and just shoot up random people? That's what I mean.
Right. And I think my idea is in agreement with what you're saying, Tavon. I think that for me, a mass shooting means somebody came somewhere where he didn't know nobody. He didn't have anybody, you know, even if he went to school there or used to be previously worked there, you came in and he shot people not relevant to why you're really mad. That's why that's considered a mass shooting to me. You shot people who did not do anything directly to you and you killed them. You're a big dummy and you need to shoot your own self first. So anybody listening, if you're thinking about doing a mass shooting, start with the man in the mirror. Just go ahead and take yourself out, because I don't understand why people do mass shootings and then they have a shootout with the police, or they hear the police coming and so they kill themselves. Stop doing that coward shit. Just kill yourself in the beginning. Period. That's my take on it.
I feel you. Okay, so what I was saying though, the reason why I was mentioning that is because the reason why I was mentioning that about them playing the word game is because I will forever be a proponent of this. Just like I was saying, they was giving niggas the flu shot for some underhanded ass reasons for all these years, and then it turned from flu to COVID, and now everybody's got to get vaccinated. Some shit is right in front of us, whether we're looking at it or not. They play the word game with mass shooting so that any shooting that has multiple victims, they can say, this year we've had this many mass shootings. And what's the logic behind it? We need stiffer gun control laws. So what are they doing? they're preventing people from being able to have the same type of weapons that the police force and the military has, the government has, so that they can never be able to defend themselves or overthrow a tyrannical government. We got to have, fuck all that, sunshine and rainbows, pie in the sky mentality. Get you a fish tank and watch how much violence takes place in there. Violence and conflict is a part of nature. Human beings want to lie to ourselves and think that it's some other shit. This is what happens. You're gonna be
right. And I put this other post up for you guys to fact check because I didn't know the validity of it. But it says at the bottom, this is a CDC statement. But I did find this on somebody else. It said firearms are the #1 leading cause of death for American children and teens. Is this true?
I don't know. But I know people that don't have firearms in other places. They just gutting motherfuckers like a fish.
Right.
It doesn't stop violence.
Tying them to tires and burning the tire, or stoning the motherfuckers to death,
or cutting their heads off. I got it.
Either way it goes,
kill people. You know what I mean? Ain't no getting around that.
I think it's important as we do discuss this, though, that we just acknowledge that the last mass shooting that I heard of, and I try not to watch the news. It could have been another one since then. But I think that my niece put that post up after the shooting that occurred in Nashville. It's concerning to me because my niece is a high school student.
Yeah, 10th grade, 16th.
A high school student who puts this post up. She has no idea what we're going to talk about on our show. She has no idea of she knows what her dad stands loud and clear. Okay. But
we get it in. She knows what's up.
Right. But I say that to say, anytime I see something like that on one of my niece's timeline, it's concerning to me. Why should children have to worry about that? Why should they have to worry about that going to school just to get an education? That's crazy to me. Well, I don't like that.
I know, but that's kind of what I meant about the pie in the sky thing. Because if you're being real with your kids, they got to worry about it when they go to the grocery store. We've seen that in Buffalo, New York. You know what I mean? They got to worry about it when they go to a school football game. She even experienced that, went to a football game and there was some shooting that took place or whatever. Nobody caught no lead, but nonetheless, youngsters it's life. You have to have a sense of security when you walk out of your house and when you walk in your house. You lock the doors, and that's the world we live in. And
a sense of security. How do you get a sense of security?
That.
How do you get a sense of security if these are the things that are that are happening? Because I know that
you got to be willing to tell yourself, I will Shaquille O'Neal a motherfucker if that's what I need to do in order to continue living. And I think that's what people are afraid of. I don't want to do that. Look, I'm more worried about dying than I am popping a pill in you.
So listen, I've been to the range with you before. Okay, I've been to the range with you before. And when I first got in there, I was like, I was like, it was so much gunshots. It was unnerving. Okay. I fired the gun, was pretty damn good at it too, after it cut my hand up a little bit, but you know what I mean? But I say that to say that everybody is not going to love guns. Some people are fascinated with guns. But everybody's not going to love guns, okay? And that's okay. But I do believe that everyone should protect themselves. And that's just me, a scary person. I'm liable to shoot up a whole bunch of shit that ain't had nothing to do with whoever came in the door, because I haven't had a whole lot of practice, but I ain't going to be scared to shoot. If it's you or me, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to shoot and I'm going to keep it. But I don't agree with the ban that they're trying to put on weapons, because I do believe that everybody should have the right to bear arms. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on that, and that's me speaking from a very person's perspective.
Is take away the constitutional right to own guns. They're just not wording it that way, but basically that's what they're trying to do.
And here's the reason why they're trying to do it. You know, it says, okay, what about taking away assault? I'm assuming he's talking about assault weapons from everyone, cops, National Guard, average citizen, et cetera, with the exception of the military. All we have done if we do that is greased our booty hole and bent over, because now we can never do what is the duty of the Declaration of the Independence, which is to overthrow a tyrannical government if the need should arise, which is the very purpose of the Second Amendment. If they got them, we supposed to have them. Period.
Right.
And if you don't love guns, that's cool.
Hang
on, because I want to respond to something you said earlier. Everybody's not going to like guns. I don't care if you don't like them, but sit your not liking guns ass down when the conversation about guns are being had. If you don't like guns, this don't apply to you when we start talking about guns. You sit in the bleachers and be quiet, because those of us who love guns, you don't have a voice in this, because you ain't gonna have one anyway. That's where I be at with that. I don't mind that people don't agree with it, but don't try to stop me from doing what I have the right to do because you have a viewpoint of guns. That's not fair.
Right. Well, and I tell this to people, and I must say it on the show. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. So don't be, people should have a knowledge of how to operate the weapons that they have. People who own guns have a responsibility to the children in the home to lock them up safely, to keep them out of the reach of children. And I feel the need and obliged to say that as a parent, as a grandparent, as just a mother. I don't know. That's the mom in me that wants to put all these disclaimers out here. The scary part of me wants to make sure that we cover that part, because they are dangerous when used, when mishandled.
Yeah, but the same can be said about an automobile. And I don't hear people, real shit. I don't hear nobody saying, you put your keys away so your kid isn't sneaking out while you're asleep and drinking and crashing through somebody's house and killing their kid and ejecting somebody else's kid out. This shit happening too? There's an agenda behind it, is the point I'm making. And so he said this, the constitutional Second Amendment was created at the time of muskets, not 100-round clips. The point still remains. The military got 100-round clips. If we cannot match them, so back in the day, we used to say, okay, it's not enough to have a heater. You got to have a heater competer, meaning you can compete with what's on the other side of the fence. That same thing. If the military got it, we supposed to have it. Straight up. Yeah.
And good point, AJ. They're not driving into schools and killing 20 kids at a time when they take their parents' keys.
I understand that, but if we're talking about stop. If we're talking about the principle of the importance of the value of children's lives, how do we say, oh, it was only 3 kids who died over there, right. Over here? Who gives a fuck?
Tell that to the person of the dead kid. Tell that to the person of the dead kid. That was only that one kid, that don't really mean shit.
Yeah, it's the same principle. So again, is it an agenda being pushed? Here's the reason why I say what I'm saying right now. Say for whatever reason, the government says we're going to come do this, that, and the other. The law is written to where no matter what kind of firearm I got, because I live in California, I can only have a 10-round magazine, but it's 12 motherfuckers out there with 100-round magazines. Do I stand a chance to defend myself from a tyrannical government?
Tell him to click.
Do you not think that they're going to kill some kids in the process?
Oh, he's ready to come in if you want to add it.
No, but he has to click add to stream. That's all I was doing.
No.
We can add him.
Okay.
Got him in here. What's up with bro?
What's good? Shalom.
What's up?
Hey, welcome. Yeah, welcome to our first guest on Four Corners Legacy.
Hey, you know what is so crazy?
I need that picture to be off, and I need the real person to be up here. Like, are you a guest or not?
All this time, I did not realize that was you, bro. This FRAQ.
I kind of knew that when he had the pit bull.
I know. I knew that was you.
Yeah, that's me.
I didn't know who it was. Appreciate you tapping in.
It's all good. Look, I got like three different accounts. So yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Welcome to the show.
Well,
I know you wanted to jump on. I'm not sure if you wanted to jump on in regards to the reparations portion of the show, or if you wanted to just tap in. I know as a gun owner, you may have something to say about this subject that we are talking about right now.
Most definitely. So basically, how I believe basically is just that like everybody should be able to protect themselves. Period. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter if it's a teacher. Doesn't matter if you. It doesn't matter what you do. As long as you have to be able to protect yourself. And the Second Amendment was for us basically to be able to protect ourselves from a government, or a tyrannical government, or basically if somebody's trying to kill, attack our life, basically try to kill us, you know what I'm saying, trying to basically take us out. So
what is your standpoint on 100-round clips then?
Whatever's necessary. You need whatever's necessary to handle the threat. Whatever threat comes at you, you need to have more than enough, so that so you got to try to outgun the basically the person that's approaching you with the threat. You know what I'm saying? So say for instance, okay, right now Biden says, okay, you only can have a 10 round magazine. Okay, well, a criminal, they don't adhere to laws. So so that means, okay, well, the criminal has, let's just say he has a 60 round drum. Okay, well, I only have 10 shots because I'm a civilian and I have to follow the rules. So so that means, so I'm in a firefight with a 60 round clip. So think about this. Bum 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 bum. You like, and now this is me.
And now here he go.
Boom. Well, see, that's the thing that I think is so important, because a lot of these people that are saying you shouldn't have this many magazines. When's the last time you were in a firefight and you emptied your firearm and somebody continued cutting loose on your ass?
Exactly.
If you haven't even experienced this, you can't, like, you gotta have some experience on the matter. Otherwise, you gotta at least be able to recognize that your standpoint is objective. Like you're not really involved in this. You're spectating. If you can't relate to it in reality, you don't know what that feels like to be like, damn, I'm out of ammo and they still cutting loose.
Yeah,
I don't get my pumpkin smashed,
May I never know how that feels. May we have endless rounds of ammo wherever I'm at. But the flip side to that, and I have to do this as the great reporter and journalist that I am, I have to speak on behalf of those who have had encounters in situations where there has been a quote unquote mass shooting, 4 or more. Maybe you were just shopping at Walmart and this motherfucker came in with a banned assault rifle and he started flooring down people left and right. I mean, and this is just my thing. What is your standpoint on how do we fix those type of situations from occurring then? If we're just not going to put a ban on assault rifles, what are we going to do? Just get more guns and have a big shootout?
Hold on. Hear me out. Banning isn't going to do anything.
I missed the last exchange. Let me say something. Okay, so basically, that's what we're saying right now. If a motherfucker walk into Walmart and he whip out his motherfucking assault rifle, and everybody in the goddamn store turn around on this bitch ass with a heater, what he gonna do?
He's gonna run. He's gonna run. So a criminal, the basic thing is that a criminal, they when they go, basically, I'm sorry, not criminal, I should say a shooter, a mass shooter. If somebody's coming in to shoot somebody, they're going to the least resistant. So basically, if you're in a Walmart, ain't nobody in there carrying guns, so they're gonna be able to shoot whoever's in there. You know what I'm saying? Or a school or something like that. They don't, like, you won't see no mass shooter in no hood. You ain't finna see them in the hood, because guess what? Everybody in the hood gonna shoot them.
Good point.
So to the point about banning guns, we talked about earlier about the corruption in prison. Everything that is being sold or traded in prison is banned. But it's still in there because the people that are supposed to uphold the law make sure that it's available.
Exactly.
Why did you think it's going to be any different with a banned gun on the street? AK-47s were banned back in 1986, 87. So what they do, we'll change the name of it. And then when they ban that, we'll redesign it and change the name. It's not going nowhere.
It's not going anywhere.
It only looks good on paper.
And not
Period.
just that,
it's not going to work.
And not just that, these people have bought thousands, millions of guns
Right.
to be sold. They're not going to just throw them motherfuckers in the shed.
That's what's not going to happen. Yeah. And so it winds up going around some backyard corner, and it still winds up in the hands of people who have no concern with the law. So the only people you have actually restricted is the
civilians. It's the civilians.
Right. But I mean, I guess
why it's so difficult to see that.
In some scenarios, people are actually purchasing these assault rifles in the store, or for their kids.
They're not assault rifles. They're not.
It's just a rifle.
They're not assault rifles. An assault rifle is only a military weapon. You cannot own an assault rifle. Period. You know what I'm saying? So
it's wordplay.
Yes, an AR is called an armor light rifle. That means it's semi-automatic. So that means as much as
I know what's semi-automatic and fully automatic.
So so if you you pulling a trigger, that's when you're firing. Okay, so if an assault rifle, you can just hold it and it'll just keep shooting. You know what I'm saying? With an AR, you have to keep pulling the trigger in order for it to fire. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference between an assault rifle and an AR. So when they call it an assault rifle, they're just doing that to make it to
it's wordplay.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, they're trying to
term mass shooting.
Exactly.
Like the term war on terror.
Exactly.
Like the term war on drugs.
Exactly.
Like, they've been playing us like this. It's no different.
Right.
You know.
I mean, with all due respect,
like the word human trafficking.
Right.
Oh Lord. Husab, would you like to add anything to commentary right now?
I was trying to pull us in, but yeah, I think people should have the right to bear arms, but the assault rifles, I don't know. I've never been, I was never had the luxury of going to the shooting range like some people. You guys never wanted to take me, so.
They don't let crazy people in. No.
Hold on. Nobody. She said never wanted to take her. You stop that, okay? When we went,
she didn't.
I lived on the other side of the country. I didn't even live out here, okay?
And maybe you and Khalil can go together for a lesson with this guy right here, because boy, it's gonna be one you never forget.
I would love to go.
I'm sure you would. There's not a family member of ours that wouldn't. You know what I mean? Even if the fear of guns exists in somebody, I know that it exists, but also the fear of being caught without, for me, exists more. Like I
know one thing is, if I'm shooting a gun, I want to hit who I'm shooting at instead of not hitting who I'm shooting at. That's stupid.
Yeah. So look at it like this. It comes down to protection, right? Mm-hmm. What if the government was to say only the military needs to have a brick and mortar structure to be housed in, and you can just live in these tents, and that should be enough protection for you from the elements, from the animals. Only the military needs this level of protection. You just got to make do with what we give to you. It's the same principle. Right. Who in the hell has the right to tell somebody that they need their life is worthy of a lower level of protection because they're not military? Like, that's crazy. Who the hell are you?
Right. Well, when you put it like that, you understand that it is because they don't want you to be able to take down the military. That's it is their hope that you would never be able to withstand the wilies of the devil, is what I'm getting at.
Right.
Well, I mean, you look at these videos and you see these youngsters popping out, 4 youngsters popping out, and they all got 30 round plus clips on them. I mean, how you going? I've been in situations where multiple carloads was coming and trying to get me. So I'm not gonna sit here in front like if I would have had a 5 round clip, I'd have been all right type shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean.
I'm not saying
go through it one time, you know.
Yeah, you gotta be a John Wick. You gotta be a John Wick to handle that.
Right.
And everybody's not John Wick.
I think that it begins to be dangerous when guns get into the hands of wrong people. And I'm gonna say it again. Guns don't kill people, people kill people.
Kill people. Exactly.
So I think that that's where the problem lies. When we talk about mass shootings, for me, I don't think about the situations that we're presenting ourselves with necessarily on the show right now. I start thinking about innocent people in locations that weren't armed and ready for what had happened to them. So for me, I do want to say that I think that those incidents it's very sad. I don't know
they
how
have the
we
right to be armed up.
Even in the Walmart.
Okay, so if you're in the nightclub, I can't walk into a nightclub with an AR-15 on my side and get in the club. Okay, I can't even get into. Huh?
Ray J did.
Oh, you can trust me. They're small. You can get them small. I got
in an open carry state. I live in an open carry state. I don't see people walking around with assault rifles.
I'm from the South. We see them all the time. People walking around.
I never see anybody with those. And that's gonna scare me. I mean, I feel some type of way. For real, because when I'm in the store and I look at, sometimes I see a sketchy ass motherfucker and he has the right to have his shit branded on his hip. I'd be like, this motherfucker could go bad at any time. But
okay, how would you feel if you had your own on your own hip and you were in the shooting range?
I would feel, and that's what I was just gonna say, Valley. I was just gonna say that we have to equal and level the playing field at that point. I need to be able to protect myself.
Exactly.
In case some shit kicks off, damn, am I gonna really start hiding behind shelves and being like, I gotta get, like, I don't know how I would react. Y'all know me well enough to know I'm gonna hide.
and see, that's the reason why I'm so vocal about the subject, because I feel like the people that are adamant about we don't need this, they're saying, I don't want to find myself in a situation where my fear is at the peak. So I'm going to make sure to eliminate you from being able to defend yourself so I can save myself from fear. No.
Yeah, fuck that.
Your fear is not that important. You don't get to have that say. That's why I be adamant about it.
And even if they ban it all, you still got knives, you still got bats, you got any type of form of anything could be a weapon. So you can still do damage with whatever you have.
I mean,
hey, look, I guarantee you, he go up in that nigga Walmart. He go up in that nigga Walmart.
Killed, I don't give a shit.
Niggas
what
is
I
going
gotta
to the
do.
sporting
I'm
good aisle. Niggas gonna be all in the sporting good aisle, strapping up for his ass.
But you know,
look, they're gonna be like, you can't grab those bullets and guns out of there. You're some motherfucker shooting in the front of the stove.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do in that scenario. But I want to acknowledge one of the comments on here that Unfaded made, and she said, get a gun and go to the range and take a class. I just think that that's the part that we need, that is also missing. That's a part that's missing. That element is very important, that if you are going to have a gun, that you need to be knowledgeable on how to load the bullets, how to pull the trigger, how to safely lock the gun if it has a lock on it, how to shoot the target, as Tusav was talking about. I think that those are important things, because I'm not gonna try to kill the whole school. I'm not trying to shoot up the whole party. I'm trying to get that one motherfucker who keep on. That's the one. That's who you need to go for. So I just want to make sure that in an effort to promote our Second Amendment right, that we are also promoting knowledge of how to use the guns as well. That's all.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I've talked about that before. You know, I'm a proponent for going to the shooting range. You know, because it's not enough.
You had me and your nieces up in there. Okay?
Yeah. This is for the ladies too. You know, because men can't always be there with y'all.
We were going to the shooting range before we was 10, 12 years old.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. Okay. And so I was going to mention
backyard.
that. I was going to mention that too, that you guys are probably a little bit blessed. You guys had a marksman for a father. So, and I'm not going to no. You can laugh all you want. I'm not just saying somebody who had a gun. Yeah, that nigga had guns, plural, okay? Plural. But not only did he have guns, he was a marksman shooter. He knew how to lay in wait and hit a target. and baby, I don't care how big or how small the target was.
Right.
He was going to get the target. So I say that to say that not everybody has those kind of lessons that you have. So it is imperative that that's what you guys are spilling out. Make sure that you are seasoned. If you want to carry weapons, make sure you're seasoned with it. Make sure you are keeping it locked up. Make sure you are training those around you on how to use these weapons and that you're not just out here all willy-nilly with it.
Yeah, because you never, ever play with guns. That's a fact.
Yeah, you know, it's to be taken serious because the whole fact of the matter is it's a tool that has a purpose, and that purpose is to do harm or possibly kill in the event that you have to defend yourself. So if you look at it like that, and you know, like how these youngsters be all with their gun on, that's not what it's about. That's clown shit. You know what I mean? I'm not standing up for that. I'm not standing up for somebody that wants to go do a cowardly act and say, I'm mad and my depression and the way people treat me, so I'm gonna go kill a bunch of innocent people. I'm not standing up for none of that. All I'm saying is those scattered incidents should not rob me of my constitutional right.
It shouldn't.
That's all I'm saying.
If you think it's bad now, it's gonna be 10 times worse if they strip. If the criminals find out that regular civilians can't protect themselves.
Watch how fast people get robbed and sexually assaulted and beat over the head. Matter of fact, just give me everything you got, because what you gonna do to stop me? Right. It's not gonna better the circumstances. So everybody don't got a warrior spirit. And if you don't have one and you never want to be around guns, especially fully loaded guns, that's cool. Step aside. There's some of us that's built that way, and we'll deal with it.
Right.
And that's one of those times I'm gonna be like, yeah, you're the leader.
we know this already. Before about women ain't got no problem with us taking the lead when dangers.
Right.
Not at all.
I'm not going to hesitate at all. There is going to be zero hesitation. It's going to be lit.
Yeah, you gotta understand that you're basically the first line of defense. Okay, the police come second. Okay,
right.
because like I said, when the thing is going down, you know what I'm saying, the police is nowhere to be found. So
in a great community, the response time is it's 2 minutes.
Right.
Great community.
Right.
So how long?
Well, and that's the scary part. That's a good point.
It takes all these shootings we see on Instagram and all these. It's not even a 30-second clip, and 4 people died.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, when that fool shot up on them people in Vegas and killed all them people in Vegas, they didn't see it coming. Even if they'd have had they straps with them, they still wouldn't have been able to defend themselves.
No,
I back up at that motherfucking hotel room though.
Yeah, he was in the hotel room. See, and then not even that, like people was in the hotel room. So if they heard shots, why nobody came? You know what I'm saying? Why nobody did anything? You know what I'm saying? Nobody said anything.
I mean, what are they gonna do? I hear stuff next door.
That's what I meant though when I said people are different, and I don't mind the differences, but they're just, if you are the person that's like, okay, there's a guy next door killing people, let me run away from him with my gun, then you're not a part of the conversation about upholding it, because it's a guy killing people randomly next door. I got a gun. Let me go do something about it. You know, certain type of people run away from shit. Other people hold their ground and deal with shit. And whoever you are, whichever one of those people you are, that's cool. But just be the voice for that particular group of people. Don't try to hamper or hinder the other group's ability to do what they feel like they need to do for safety of themselves and all people. That's really all I be saying. Don't try to stop me from being who I am, because I'm going to defend mine. Yeah.
And as you should. It has to be somebody out here to defend. There has to be somebody out here to defend. And let's just be fair. Why would it need to?
Hey, there's a flip side to this though, because that nigga had hella guns in that hotel room.
So. Yeah, he would have responded back through the wall, and it would have been over.
If you do shoot to the wall, you better hit that motherfucker.
Right.
I would have shot straight through the wall and never even had to see him.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, that be my thing, you know. Conflict is a part of the human experience. It doesn't matter how far you go back, it was there. So why are we like fooling ourselves to believe that it's a possibility of that no longer being the case?
It's always going to be conflict.
Look, I don't want to hurt nobody, but if you ask me to, I just might change my mind.
I think that everybody serves a purpose. Certainly children that are going to school, and this is on a lighter note, y'all know we could cut up all day long, but on a lighter note, certainly children that are gone to school, 8 and 9 years old, they've never seen it coming.
Shit. That's some horrific shit.
That is, and the students whose teachers are rushing them out of the classrooms and hiding them, and they're hearing an assault rifle. Those students may have never even heard a gun fired before, let alone to hear it coming at that speed. It just has to be detrimental. And these are the things that I'm talking about when I'm talking about mass shootings. And I just think that those are devastating situations. And I don't know how we could fix crazy people getting their hands on guns. There's no way to fix that.
There's no way you can do that. There's no way you can. The only thing you can do is arm yourself and protect you and yours. Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. The teachers, if you arm the teachers are the first responders to that threat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
that is true.
If a teacher had a gun, that person would have never made it into they would have never made it in there. It passed that door. You know what I'm saying? Because
so are we now
like
saying
this right here? I seen it was something online where they have these I don't know what you want to call it, like a barricade room that it's a structure that they can put in the classrooms, and it's bulletproof. You know what I mean? So if something is to happen, and of course it's not going to save everybody, but if something is to happen, the teachers can be like, everybody get up in here, and now they're barricaded in this portion of the room that's bulletproof. There's alternatives to saying, hey man, you in the community, I know you want to be able to protect your family away from school, but because bad stuff happens at school, now even when you go home, you're not safe. Thanks to the new gun law. I just don't see the logic in that.
No, there is no logic in that. There is no logic in that. And I'm wondering, I'm like, damn, do I want my grandkids going to school with teachers that carry guns? I don't know how to feel about that. But it makes sense when you're saying if the teacher had the equal type of weapon that the shooter had, well, then yeah, they might have been a little less casualties out there if that had been the case. So,
or it may not even be an option for the teacher, because I think that should still be optional. You know what I mean? It may not be a requirement for the teacher. It should be optional to whether or not you're willing to defend yourself. But if you are unwilling, don't try to rob other people of the option and the right. because that's what we see happening with all this gun law stuff. I'm not willing to defend myself. I want to wait on the police, even though they might not be here for 6
I
minutes.
don't want to wait on the police.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to wait on the police.
Then you want to have a gun, because that's the only other alternative. Like Q said, we have to see that we are the first line of defense in our house, in our car, in our personal space. Nobody's coming to save you.
No, definitely not. They'll come save you off the ground when you riddle with bullets.
Right. They'll come straight.
That's true.
Look, they'll come stand over you and eat sandwiches and donuts and shit.
And drop breadcrumbs on your dead ass chest.
Right. Drawing that chalk line around your body.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, anybody got anything else? I know we covered a lot today.
Yeah. This one was it's kind of tough to get on this gun control subject without offending people. For me, anyway, because I get
pulling at everybody's heartstrings because all they're thinking about is the victims of these senseless crimes.
Right. And they're saying you wanting to defend yourself doesn't matter. That's what I hear. And that's the part that is being lost in translation. I understand your compassion about these people that are being victimized in these shootings, but why attack my rights in order to try to keep them safe in a world that ain't never
isn't safe
or never is going to be safe?
And I don't really foresee them changing the gun laws anytime soon. I do see them keeping a hike on ammunition and making things like that more expensive. But there's no way to combat it at this point because there's so many guns, illegal guns on the street. It's like they can't stop that.
They're not trying to stop it. They're the ones. They're just like how the CO is keeping all the contraband in the prison. It's the authorities that keep all those illegal guns on the street. They're the ones making it happen.
Right.
So it's a Jedi mind trick to begin with. They don't even care.
Nope.
Yeah. Not
at all. Even like I got a homeboy from Chicago. He was like, the police, all they did was just sit a box in the alley full of guns and just walk and drive away and just let everybody take them.
That's what's really happening. Yeah.
They just drop them and just go. You know what I'm saying? And
they leave that truck out there and make sure that it's unlocked. And once people see what's in it, they run into it. But then they all on the news saying, how come somebody isn't doing anything about the gun violence in Chicago?
I mean, well, in Chicago, let's be fair. What else can they do but leave the guns in the alley? I mean, niggas is getting killed at a rate higher than anywhere else. So I don't know. It's
I'm saying they're providing.
No, they're providing it.
Weaponry to do the killing. Exactly. That's what he's getting at.
They must be reproducing like rats and rabbits out there because I don't understand how it's still niggas left.
Right. At the number of people that are getting killed, how is there still people? And who decides, you know what, I'm gonna move to Chicago? Like I don't know. See, everybody should be gone by now.
Well, in Illinois now they just passed I think that it was a law basically. They just passed basically they'll let out if you do murder, you can get out of jail. If you rob, still any it's basically like the purge, I should say. If you murder somebody in broad daylight and they saw you get caught, you go to jail. The next day
you don't have to pay for bond, is what it is.
Right, you pay for bond, and they'll let you back out so you can go commit another murder. Like this make no sense. That makes no sense.
That's crazy.
So about the population, how you were saying about how is it still people there? Just in this Chicago metropolitan area. It's as of 2022, 8,901,000 people. So it's damn near 9 million people in Chicago.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
Over the last 20 years, that's like triple what it was.
And the growth rate, it says the growth rate is 0.27%. So I mean, it might sound crazy, but it's a heavily populated city and it's still growing.
Mm-hmm.
So did we ever find out that if firearms are the #1 leading cause of death for American children and teens? Do you believe that to be true?
Oh, you did say something about that earlier.
Firearms are, because I just seen it. It said firearms are the #1 leading cause of death for American children and teens. I don't know, how could that be true?
I don't understand that. I think it's more of being suicidal, probably. Yeah. That'd be more than
Right, but if they're killing themselves by a gunshot to the head, then
right.
that still would be
True.
firearms being the #1 leading cause of death.
I don't think it is though.
Google.
Mm-mm.
It's probably drugs. It's probably drug overdose.
Hey Siri. What is the #1 cause of death for American children and teens?
Okay, I found this on the web for what is the #1 cause of death for American company leaves. Check it out.
Just why I don't fuck with this.
That's because Wasabi said something while you were recording.
She always got the wrong information. That damn Siri.
Tell the bitch to shut up.
Right, and the other day I was arguing with her, and she's just like, "Mom, you like Tokyo Tony?" She over there arguing with Siri, cussing her out and everything. I'm like, I said, that is not a compliment. I don't want to be like Tokyo Tony cussing out Siri, but that's how it be, because she jumps in my conversations.
Leading cause of youth death.
Allie used to cuss out John Madden video game.
Oh yeah, with the man. That's why I had to leave John Madden alone, because I was talking to him.
Did anybody get a chance to appropriately come up with the answer to that question?
They said the current cause of death in children and adolescents is firearm related deaths. 45,222.
Firearms are the #1 leading cause of death for American children and teens. Boom. And we could close it out on that right there. That's crazy. That's awful.
That's due to negligence you could be negligence on the parents. You know what I'm saying? Not teaching them about gun safety and not even that, and then also, being access to gun, having access to those type of guns. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they say that it has went up between 19 and 20. It increased 33.4%.
Okay, so here's the thing that I would throw out about that. If no other citizen was able to legally possess a gun, because these kids that's running around with guns in the street, that's gang banging and shooting each other, they not sneaking and getting their mama and daddy's gun.
No.
Okay. So that negligent part is making up a minute percentage of those numbers. But the media will pump it out and make it seem like that's the leading cause of it. No, it's the same thing you're just talking about with them.
That was in the last few years prior to that.
Since 2022. But here's the kicker, though. It says #1 cause in the U.S., #11 cause in Australia, #9 cause in Austria and Belgium, #5 cause in Canada, 8 cause, like they're nowhere near close to where we're at, these other places.
But before the last few years, vehicle accidents were the top related accident for our children.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. This country was founded on extreme violence. Okay.
Exactly.
On top of that, this country has continued to promote the ideology of extreme violence. And they'll say, oh, well, black people make these violent movies. It was all good when it was about Scarface and all these other, non-black violent people.
Right.
It has been perpetuated. It's a part of the mentality here. And it doesn't matter if you got a gun, a knife, a damn pipe, a pipe wrench, a baseball bat. Violence is a huge part of the mindset in this country. So why would you want to prevent me from being able to protect myself from that violence? You know what I mean?
Sir, nobody's trying to stop you from having guns, okay?
No, that you better wake up and look at what's going on in the news. People are actively trying to pass these laws.
Yes, they are. They are trying.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
I feel like how you guys were talking when we were talking about abortions, and you're like, that ain't never gonna happen. I feel like that about guns. Like, they're never gonna stop you guys from having guns.
Well, what I'm saying is they will stop you from having them legally. So now I have to be willing to commit a crime to defend myself.
Yep.
That's bullshit.
Yep. That's exactly
that is bullshit. Yeah.
That's why you better buy up all the ammunition and guns right now while you can.
It wouldn't matter. You have them. It's still going to be a crime if they abolish this shit.
Like, they don't want to overturning that if it happens. Too many people are going to die once they do that.
Right. And like right now, like I got an AR pistol, okay? And basically the ATF just came out that the stock that I have on the AR pistol, it is now a crime. So it's now illegal for me to have it because it turns it into a short barreled rifle. So I have to take that off in order for it to still be a pistol. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that right there basically helped me for stability for the pistol. You know what I'm saying? That's all basically what it was for, just for stability. So now I have to take that off because now I'm quote unquote committing a crime because I got a stock on there, illegal hardware on that gun.
It's more concealable.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But when the opposition comes and says, because now we're in this revolution that's going to happen when the bottom fall out of the financial situation. So when the opposition come to take your house and they got all this stuff, but you couldn't have it, according to the logic, it should be okay for you to be outgunned because you're not in the military.
Exactly.
You're not a police officer. This is the logic that they're using to push those laws. And
it's unfair because they're expecting that now we're supposed to trust them with our safety. You know what I mean? Like, if the military can, as long as the military has it, no matter what happens, we're always going to have the people's best interest. You a motherfucking lie. Now that's a lie.
Yeah, because
I wouldn't
police are shooting people left and right over bullshit.
Yeah, no,
left and right.
I know that shooting black folks gets a lot of notoriety, but it ain't just black folks they shooting. That's how they get down. They be like, we'll pop a cap in your ass, you know? So, but we're supposed to rely upon them for the safety.
That's because of
that's why it's in the Constitution that states that we supposed to arm ourselves so that then that won't happen. You know what I'm saying? That's why that clause is in there.
Right. Well, those things may come true sooner than later.
That's the 101 cop shows they got.
Like you said, what is it called? A tyrannical
government.
Yeah. I feel like that's closer than we think.
Yeah, of course.
And one thing is for sure, there's more people that aren't prepared for that than there are people that are prepared. That's
true.
That is true.
Yeah. And those laws would just keep it that way. That's why I be on that shit. I be banging that. It's not something that can be approached with emotion, zero logic. We got to balance that out. Of course, I feel some kind of way about school violence. I still got a kid that goes to school every day. Of course, I feel some kind of way about that. But those feelings does not negate the logic of, that's not the only place we might face danger. I should be able to prepare, defend myself from danger wherever I go.
Right.
It can take off anywhere. It can take off in the movie theater. It can take off at a library. It can take off anywhere.
All those places have had mass shootings you just named.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Including the church.
Including the church.
You're not safe anywhere,
That's crazy. That's bad.
And if you're a stern believer of the church, God would never let something like that happen.
Oh, never. That's your God-given right is to protect yourself. He tells you you're supposed to protect yourself. Protect yourself.
That's what God means when he says he ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. I created a motherfucker who created a gun so you can protect yourself.
Okay, and on that note, do we have any final remarks from any of the guests or the co-hosts? Do we have any final remarks?
Words are powerful. Words are powerful.
Yes, they are. So I want to say that I know, like I said, that we covered some stuff where it probably I know it comes off a certain kind of way, but I got good intentions, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, I feel
I'm smashing
even though you're 3,000 miles away, I feel safe.
You know what I mean? I'm smashing on the topic, not on people. So if you happen to be one of the people that fits into that topic, it's still not related to you. You know what I mean? But I'm smashing.
I think you did good.
Yeah,
I think you did good. I think part of our job is to cover all different sides of it, and I think we're not supposed to think alike. I feel safer knowing that you are a family member, and if the shit does kick off, that I have a bunch of strong leaders to not only take care of us and protect us, but to teach us so that we can protect ourselves. That's important.
We care about the victims of the shootings and the families of the victims and all that. You know, we empathize and our heart goes out to that situation. But
definitely, thank you, bro.
We also know that standing by and hoping people are just going to be better people, that's not the right way to approach that. You know, you got to start making some examples out of these mass shooters, and then they're going to start understanding what it really is. You know, when they go up in a motherfucking establishment and everybody turn around and fill this motherfucker full of holes like his ass is a pig.
Exactly. For real though. That's how he needs
exactly.
to be treated.
Exactly.
And if you ain't one that's willing to do that, we ain't even mad at you. Just get down. Get out.
Well, that's true. That the Asian man that went and killed up them people, not at the dance hall, but the other one, they took his ass down and held his ass down so the police could get his ass.
I'm gonna hold him down, all right.
And then
they're gonna hold him down. They're gonna hold him down. Yeah, they're gonna hold him down.
Look, I told him to stop resisting.
Right, I told him to stop resisting, man, for real.
No, but that's for real though. You know, nobody should have to just hope that this person doesn't kill them, man. If you one of them people, get up and handle that, you know, and let the police cart them off, or I mean, handle it. It's up to you. But yeah, I commend them people for standing up and bringing that dude down.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a good show.
Very much so.
Yeah, and we appreciate everybody for tapping in. We appreciate you, Q, for joining.
Hey, you broke the monotony. Now we didn't brought somebody in there.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Next week, stay tuned. We got some more guests coming in and some other things that we are working on. So now we know how to do this.
And now
if you haven't liked and shared or subscribed to our YouTube.
We know who Frack is.
Yeah.
Oh man. That nigga said Frack.
I was trying to get it out. I was like, there's too many syllables, you know.
Say that again, big sis. Close out for us.
I said, if you haven't liked or shared or subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do. We would love for you to subscribe.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Come on and get with the program.
Yes, indeed. And we'll see y'all next week. Same time, same place.
All right.
All right.